Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Divanshu, are you talking?
Oh, I was on mute, is it?
Yeah, you you were on mute.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So you did not hear anything I said so far.
Yes, I didn't hear
Oh,
anything.
wow. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. All right, so this is the pre-session. This is session 18. So welcome to the session 18 pre-session Q&A. I am going to cover the navigation attributes in BW4HANA, and we'll stop at 8:30 sharp because there's a lot of content to be covered in the actual class. So let me touch upon navigation attributes. I did see the questions and answer folder, and I did not find any new questions. So let me quickly touch upon navigation attributes, and then if you have any questions, then we will try to answer those questions. Okay. All right, so let's look at the navigation attributes in BW4HANA, how we access them and how do we activate them, because it has changed slightly in BW4HANA. All right, so I've logged into the BW4HANA project, ABAP project as well. And let me quickly open one of the flows we have. And I think I have navigation attribute, yes. Okay, so let me move it up because we are discussing before the main class. All right. So let's discuss the navigation attributes in BW4HANA. So basically, in previous BW versions, the navigation attributes were easily available at the DSO level, at an InfoCube level, and you could easily map them also in transformations easily. So that was the process in the prior BW versions, which has slightly changed now. So now navigation attribute cannot be activated at an ADSO level in BW4HANA. So in the ADSO, when you will design the ADSO in the main editor of the ADSO in Eclipse, you will not find navigation attributes in BW4HANA. So the place has changed. So now you cannot see the navigation attributes at the ADSO level, but you can see the navigation attributes at a composite provider level. So basically, there are two places where you can see the navigation attributes and then also map them if you want. So the two places where the navigation attributes are available in BW4HANA are composite provider, number one, and second, transformation. So during the transformation, they are available, and during the composite provider also, they are available. Within the composite provider, again, they are available at two places, one in the source tab and one in the output tab. Okay. So these are the two places where you can activate and access the navigation attribute. So let's first look at the transformation, and then we will look at the composite provider. So if you go into BW, I'll just open any data flow which we were working on. I'll just take one of the ADSOs. Okay. So we were working on the item flow and the sales header flow. So I'll just take one of the ADSOs. Okay. Say for example, which one was ours? I think this one, ZDSD ITM 4. So what we'll do is we'll quickly create a copy of this. Okay, and we will just name it something ZD ITM 4 CP for the copy. Sales item copy. So copy from, there's no template, copy from is used because I am creating an ADSO from an ADSO. So templates is not required because the type of info provider is the same. So I can use the copy from. And then this is in the batch too. Okay, let's finish it. Okay. So this is a standard ADSO with change log. Everything will be same. Yeah, key fields are there. Settings are there. Keys will also be there. Sales document and document item. So looks good. Let's activate it. Control F3. Now you can see that at this level in the ADSO, I am not able to see any composite provider. Composite provider for material, composite provider for sold to part is not composite provider, sorry, navigation attribute, my bad. So we cannot see the navigation attribute at the ADSO level, navigation attribute of any info objects which has navigation attributes. You're not able to see them here, okay? And if you right click it, there is no option to activate navigation attribute also. But if I create another target on top of this particular ADSO, so say for example, I have this ADSO and this one is here's EDITM4 CP, and I will just generate an data flow from this ADSO so that we can create the target there. Okay, so it is a standalone ADSO right now. It is not connected to anything. Now what I will do is I'll create another ADSO of type data mart, say for example, ZD ITM 5 CP. Okay, and I'll just connect these two and I'll just create the data source, oh sorry, create the ADSO. Copy from this guy, yes, that's fine. I'll just finish this and then we'll change the type to data mart. You can keep it as standard also, just for demonstration purpose. So I'm just taking it to data mart. It's saying keys are defined. Those keys will be deleted because data mart does not have any keys. All the fields together, they form the compounded key, just like InfoQ. Then we have everything else fine. Setting is fine. Let's activate them. Okay, so what we are trying to do here, we are trying to see where we can access the navigation attributes. And the first place we can access is transformation. And the second place is the composite provider, right? So this is the flow which I have created now. So now let's create a transformation quickly. It will all be 1:1, so which is fine. Okay, I'll quickly just activate it. Okay, so the transformation is successfully activated. Now, if you go to the rules, in the rules, you will see that you have document number, sales order item number, and then all the different info objects sold to party. But the navigation attributes of any info object is not available to map, right? Even if I right click on this, there is nothing available as navigation attribute. But in transformation, you can have navigation attributes activated and then you can map them to the target fields if you want to. So say for example, material has a navigation attribute which is there in the target field and you want to map it, right? So you can do that easily. So say for example, let's quickly open the material and see what are the navigation attributes, and one of the navigation attributes we will add in the target ADSO. So if you go to the attributes tab, you have all these as navigation attributes. So let's copy, say for example, industry sector, right? This is a navigation attribute, 0IND_sector. So let me go back to the data flow, here, and then let me open the target data mart ADSO, and then we'll quickly add that. Okay, in the characteristics, I'll just add an info object, which is 0IND_sector. This guy. Okay, so we'll click on OK. 0 industry sector is added. Okay, I'll quickly activate this. So it's there in the target ADSO, but it's not there in the source ADSO. 0 industry sector is not there in the source ADSO. So then what do we do? We know that it's a navigation attribute. So now, in order for us to access the navigation attributes in the transformation, what you'll have to do is, okay, let me first save this. Actually, no, let me not save it. Okay, let me activate once more, because if you change the source of the target, the transformation becomes inactive as well. So let me quickly activate the transformation. Okay, so now we have the industry sector, and that is not mapped. It is initial and it is not mapped. But I don't see the navigation attributes here for the zero material. So then what I have to do is I have to go back to the source ADSO, go to the details tab, and then choose zero material. And there is a checkbox on the right side under the properties. We have something called use navigation attributes in extraction. So if you check that box for zero material, okay, and then you activate it. Okay, there's a warning. Let's see what the warning says. Okay, let it activate first. Okay, so it successfully activated. The warning is saying this setting is only valid for extraction purposes. It could have an impact on the system performance. So from a performance standpoint, this particular way to access the navigation attribute and map it to the target is not recommended, but there is a possibility that you can do that. Regardless of this setting, all navigation attributes are always available at the time of reporting. Okay. When you are reading the data from the composite provider, it is always available. So now what I have done is I have checked this box for zero material, use navigation attributes in extraction for the source ADSO. Okay. Now what we'll do is we will go back to the transformation. And when you go back to the transformation, go to the rules. Now you will see that I have all the navigation attributes available from zero material, which were not there before. Just because of that checkbox of saying that make the navigation attributes available during extraction time, I have all these navigation attributes for the info object for which I checked that flag. And in our case, it is zero material. So now we have industry sector, this guy, and then you can map the industry sector to the industry sector of the target, which is a direct assignment, and you can activate the transformation. What this will do is at the time of loading, when the DTP will run, it's going to check the value of the industry sector for every record, for every material. So it's basically doing a lookup from the attributes table. So there are M table, there is a P table, there's a Q table. These are all attributes table in info object. So it's going to check the industry sector for every material and then populate the target. That's why it is performance intensive, in the sense that it's always doing a lookup. So for every record, if there are millions of records coming from the source, it's going to do millions of times of lookups to the master data info object tables, and then it will populate it. So that is not a recommended way, right? Another way what you could have done is that, so let me go to this rule. So I'll see the rule. See, what you could have done is, instead of direct assignment, okay, you could have said that I will look up. Now, when you say look up, okay, I'm just going to remove it from here. Then in the lookup object, you can browse zero material. And when you give the zero material as the lookup object, then you have to pass the key field of material info object. What is the key field? Zero material is the key field, and that is there in my source. So I'm passing the key field of zero material in the lookup object, which is my zero material, as the transformation source field zero material. So I have passed that, and what I am gaining, what I'm looking up, industry sector. That is another way of accessing navigation attributes. So first one is You activate them in the source info provider and then use them in the transformation. But performance wise, that is not recommended. The better approach is the lookup here in the transformation. This is faster. This is also going to do the lookup, but remember transformation runs package by package, and this lookup is faster than the lookup it has to do when you activate in the mapping of the transformation. So instead of doing them in the mapping by activating it in the source, this is a better approach if you want to look up the navigation attributes. Okay. So this is another way you can do the industry sector, or you can do direct assignment when you have activated the navigation attributes. Okay. Now see what happens is here you can do only one field lookup. Okay, but when you check that box of activate navigation attributes, you're not choosing which navigation attribute you want to activate. It's going to activate all the navigation attributes of that particular info objects, and that's why during the transformation all the values will be looked up, and then one of the values will be assigned whatever you have mapped to the target. But in the source, when you check this box, right, in this particular source ADSO, when you check the box, you cannot choose which particular navigation attributes I want to activate. That's why it is performance wise not recommended, because it's going to activate all the navigation attributes, and in runtime it's going to look up all the attributes and then finally assign industry sector. Instead of that, just do one lookup, because you only need one navigation attribute lookup. So just go to this rule, go to lookup, take the info object and then get the navigation attribute. That's why it's a better approach to go for single lookups instead of activating it here. But anyways, the option is always there, right? So you can easily do that. So for example, if you have a formula or if you have a calculation which is based on 5 different navigation attributes, right? Then in the lookup, you cannot do that. Then you will have to activate the navigation attributes, use the 5 or 6 navigation attributes, map it to the target with a formula or a routine. So there are different customer requirements which will force you to use different options. But given a choice, if the same thing can be achieved via the individual transformation lookup versus activating all the navigation attributes, go for individual transformation lookup. Okay, these are the 2 ways you can access the navigation attributes. The second place where you can access the navigation attribute is the composite provider. So let's quickly create a composite provider here. ZV, let's go ITM5. Okay, I'll just map it here. And then we quickly create a composite provider. Okay, next, it's just going to show you one provider because we just have one ADSO. This is fine. Let's click on finish. And then you can go to scenario. There's just one. Okay, so we have all these info objects coming, and then in the target it is empty. So I'm just going to do right click and say create assignments. When you right click create assignments, it's going to map all the source info objects to target info object, and also under the same folders it will also create the folder. Okay, so control F3 to activate the composite provider. This is just a demonstration. Don't worry, we'll go in great detail today in composite providers. Okay, so composite provider activated successfully. Now, in the composite provider, I told you there are 2 tabs, the output and the source. So it's basically not source, it is scenario. Okay, it is the scenario and the output. So let me change it here. So in the scenario, how do you activate the composite provider? So again, the same thing. What you can do is you can go to the characteristics, and then in the 0 material, same example, you can right click. One second. Where is that option? Yeah, okay. So let me show you in the output first, and then we will look at the scenario also. So in the output, you can right click on the material, say for example, and you can go to navigation attributes. And then you will see all the navigation attributes of zero material. In our case, it is industry sector. So what we can do is we can go to industry sector, this guy, and say okay, and industry sector will be added. So your navigation attributes is added at a composite provider level. So it's not coming from any transformation mapping. It's not coming from any lookups in the transformation. It is directly added in the composite provider in the output tab. Meaning if I just activate this and if you run a report on top of this, then what will happen is you will automatically get the industry sector in your queries and you can slice and dice with industry sector. That is one way in composite provider. The second way is the scenario. Now in scenario also you get the option of composite providers, sorry, the navigation attributes. I think right click here. Yeah, okay, sorry. Not right clicking on the individual info objects, but actually right clicking on the part providers. Part providers means the providers which are participating in the composite providers. That's why they're called part providers. So in the part providers, if you right click, it will say show unassigned navigation attributes. So if you click that, what it's going to do is all the info objects, whatever have the navigation attributes, all of them will be activated for you, meaning available for you for mapping. And then you can do the mapping from the source part provider to the target of the composite provider. So what you will see now, you will see expanded info objects now. Previously, this expansion was not there, but now you have the expanded info objects, meaning whatever info objects have navigation attributes, it can now be available for your mapping. So if you have business partner for sold to customers business partner, if you have it in the target, you can map it to the target. Okay. And so this is exactly same like your transformation. In the transformation, you were mapping from the source to target. In transformation, how did we activate? In the source ADSO, you have to go and activate at the material or at an info object level. Here, you have to activate at a part provider level. Then the part provider will actually can say, show unassigned navigation attributes. All navigation attributes will be available to you, and then you can assign it the industry sector. Right now, it is there, but industry sector, if it is not coming from your source, then the navigation attributes can be mapped to the industry sector. This is again comparing where you should activate it. That depends upon whether it's available already in some of the part providers. Say for example, in one of the part providers, it is available as a direct field. Industry sector is available as a direct field. So then to map from the other part providers, you'll have to activate the unassigned navigation attribute and map it. If you don't have a requirement to map it from all the part providers, you can just at the final target level, you want to just show the navigation attributes in the query, then you can activate from here. Okay, zero material. So it depends again on customer requirements. Where do you want to map? Performance wise, in these two also the same thing. You in the output, if you add it, then it is performance wise better. But again, if the requirement mandates that you have to map it from the source, all the part here it is just one part provider. But if you have 5 or 6 part providers and industry sector is available from 3 of them, not available from remaining 3, and you want to make it consistent, then you have to activate the navigation attributes at the source part provider level and then map it accordingly. So these are the two different ways within composite provider. One is in the output, another one in the scenario. And the second place where you can activate it is transformation. Again, transformation two ways. Lookups you can do, or you can activate the navigation attributes in the source info provider. Please remember, it is always first in the source and then you can access it in the transformations. Okay, so let's quickly, it's 8:30. So what I'll do is I'll quickly delete these. Actually, let me delete it from here. Let's clean it up. Oh, I think I did not save the composite provider. This is the one, right? Oh yeah, it is there. Sorry. Okay, so it is gone, and we have the copy ones. So we'll quickly delete them. Okay, let me delete these just to have, unused or redundant objects. I don't want to keep piling up, so I'll just clean them up.
Mm.
All right. So I think it's 8:31. Sorry, I could not take any questions, but we'll try to see questions post session after the streaming process change if the time permits. Otherwise, we'll take it in the next session. So let me stop the recording.